Good afternoon, all. In today's session, we are going to continue uh, one problem on even and odd, and then we will be continuing with periodic and non-periodic signals. That is the second category. Continuous and discrete is a general category. Then we have seen what is even and odd, what is the definition, how it is decomposed, how to find the even and odd component. The next classification comes is periodic and non-periodic. Before moving to that classification, I have one problem. You can see it on the screen. This problem, which you can see it, prove that this was the homework. This is a question paper problem. Okay, the solution is easily available to you. The only thing is you need to understand this. Anyhow, I'll be sharing the notes with you to you try to understand how this proof can be done. Okay, and this requires some of the basics of your integration. You can see it, the total integration sum I have split into negative and positive, 0 minus plus. So I have split this 2 and then I have carried on. You can just have the reference of this solution. I'll be putting it in the Google Classroom. This was the assignment given. Okay, you can see it. Another two problems let me take. Find even and odd parts of this question. X of t equal to cos square of pi by 2 into t. It's a continuous time signal and cos square term is there. How to solve? In order to solve this, we have to make use of certain trigonometric function, that is cos square theta. This is a function which you know it already, how cos square theta can be written. I think you have studied 2 cos square theta is equal to 1 plus cos 2 theta. You have studied this probably. And 2 sine square theta is equal to 1 minus sine 2 theta. These two are the identities. You might have studied it in trigonometry. Since the question is cos square, I'll be using this. Cos square theta equals to 1 plus cos 2 theta divided by 2. I have written it. You can see it on the screen. Let me just zoom a little. This is the identity, cos square equal to 1 plus cos 2 theta by 2. So what is theta? In our question, it is pi by 2 into t. So write it 1 plus cos 2 theta, double the angle, 2 into theta. Theta is pi by 2 into t. So 2 gets cancelled, cos of pi t will be the angle and divided by 2 according to the formula. Then you just apply this half to both. Half plus half of cos pi t. Half plus half of cos of pi t. Out of this, we have got two terms. One is this half, the other one is half of cos of pi t. Let us try to draw cos of pi t. In order to draw this cos of pi t, you should know what is the period. Okay, the shape of the signal, you know how the cos looks, cosine, the sinusoidal waveform, but you should know the period after what time the signal is repeating. For that, you can see it on the screen. I have solved it. Cos pi t, it looks like a general equation, cos of omega t. This is the cos, yes. Okay, cos of omega t. So what is omega? Omega is equal to pi. So compare that, omega is equal to pi, or totally omega t is equal to pi t. Omega I have substituted 2 pi f into t, or 2 pi, pi gets cancelled, 2f is equal to 1, or frequency is half, and frequency and time period, they are inversely related. So t will be equal to 2. So 2 seconds. What is the period? Period is equal to 2. Means after 2 value, the signal repeats. So we should draw cos signal in such a way that after 2 time, the signal should repeat. You can see it. You know that cos is a symmetric signal, means अगर आप इसको राइट हैंड साइड में ऐसे ड्रॉ करोगे, इसका मिरर इमेज लेफ्ट हैंड साइड में ऐसे रहेगा. दिस इज अ कॉस, वर्टिकली सिमेट्रिक सिग्नल. कॉस, इट इज अ पॉजिटिव सिग्नल, right? It is an even signal. So if you want to draw it, let me start with this point. Okay, if I take this 0, so ये तो half part हो गया. If I take this and extend up to this, till this is a one cycle. After that, after this, if you see, again I am getting the same. So जो maximum amplitude से ये downhill है ना, the same thing is repeating here. So till this, your signal is to be continued, only this much. So continue and count the numbers. 0 to 1 is 1 unit, 1 to 2 is 1 unit. So 0 to 1, 1 to 2. So totally the time period is equal to 2. So we have drawn the signal very accurately with the given, with the what we have got, the time period, which is equal to 2. Okay. So once we draw it, how to find the even and odd signals? Even part will be, we have to take the original signal, we have to take the reflection of the signal, we have to add those signals and half the amplitude. Let us follow the same procedure. This is your original signal. Now, how to find the reflection of this? Reflection of this will be same, because if you see, it is the it is symmetric about vertical axis. जो signal आपको right hand side में मिलेगा, वही left hand side में भी है. So if I want to try to draw the reflection of this signal, let me try. अगर ये signal ऐसे है on the right hand side, इसका reflection कैसे होगा? Let me draw it here. If you have a signal like this, its mirror image will be like this, right? And suppose you have a signal like this on the left hand side, this part I am taking now, its mirror image will be this, right? इसका mirror image ये हो गया, इसका mirror image ये हो गया. इन दोनों को जब आप ऐड करेंगे, what will be the signal? Just आपके amplitudes add up हो जाएंगे. Okay, the image will be, I have drawn it directly, but what you should do it, after these two, when you add the signal, you should draw again a same cosine signal. Here the amplitude is 1, here the amplitude is 1. 1 plus 1, it will become 2. So amplitude abhi aapka 1 nahi rahega, it will get doubled. Okay, it is 2. Now when you add that, you will get 2. The last step in the procedure is, you need to half the amplitude. So again, divide the amplitude by 2, you will get 1. So I have skipped one step and directly I have written the answer. See, the amplitude is 1 and minus 1. This is the even component of the signal. Similarly, how to get the odd component? You have to take the original signal, you have to take the reflection, you have to subtract. So if these two are the signals, try to subtract. Say here we have some amplitude, here we have the same amplitude. See, both amplitudes are same at all the times. Check. We have same variations happening. So if you subtract this minus this, you will not get anything. It is 0. Again, subtract this point minus this point, you will get 0. Subtract this variation plus this variation. Point wise, even if you try to draw it on the graph sheet and try to subtract the amplitudes one by one, you will get all amplitudes 0, because excuse me, because all these two variations, see here, here there is a pulse, the similar kind of pulse is here. If you subtract this minus this, you will not get anything here. So here there is a negative pulse, here also there is a negative pulse. So if you subtract these two, again you will get 0. So odd term 0. That's why I said when the question is cos, cos is an even signal. So odd part you won't get, only even part you are getting. Similarly, there's one more signal here. You try to do this. I'll just give you a brief. Im stands for imaginary. Okay, imaginary part of this particular signal, e to the power of j n pi by 4. So first you should know how to elaborate e raised to j n pi by 4. Then only you can find the imaginary part of that. So you know that. I think you have studied this. What you call this? Probably. What is that? I'm not getting that word. E to the power of j theta. Polar form, probably. I don't remember. Electrical people, you might be knowing much better. E to the power of j theta. If you expand this, it is cos theta plus j sine theta. I think Euler's form, something like that. Cos theta plus j sine theta. So similarly, what is the given question? It is e to the power of j n pi by 4. So expand it, you will get cos n pi by 4 plus j sine n pi by 4. Now, according to the given question, out of this complete expansion, we have got two terms, out of which you need to take the imaginary part. So which one is imaginary? Cos or sine? So j term is associated with sine. So the imaginary part will be this. अगर क्वेश्चन में इंस्टेड ऑफ आई एम अगर आर ई होता, रियल होता, तो आप कॉस को सेलेक्ट करते. बट एज द क्वेश्चन इज फॉर इमेजिनरी पार्ट ऑफ दिस फॉर्म, आपको साइन सेलेक्ट करना पड़ेगा. साइन n pi by 4. That's what I have done here. You can see. So your x of n will be sine of n pi by 4. So sine n pi by 4, you know it. Now, what is the the standard form of any sine or cos angle? Sine of omega t for continuous, cos of omega t continuous. This is the general representation of any sine signal or cos signal. You can even more generalize it by taking a sine omega t and a cos omega t. This is for continuous. अगर discrete है, what will be the general notation? It will be a sine of omega is represented like this. We have seen this already in sinusoidal signal. We have already studied what are the different elementary signals. 6 plus 6. In that, exponential we have studied. Next is a sinusoidal, exponentially damped, then unit step, ramp and impulse. 6 different elementary signals we have already studied. There you have seen this omega is denoted as your ohm sign. Okay, the resistance unit ohm. Okay, it is like that. Into n. This is the general representation of sine, and for cos you take a cos omega n. Now, if you compare this sine omega n with this sine n pi by 4, what is omega? Omega is equal to, let me take omega n, complete this. Omega n is equal to n pi by 4, right? So n, you leave it. What is omega? Omega will be equal to pi by 4. So you got this omega equal to pi by 4, but we don't know what is the fundamental period. Once we know the period, we know at what time the signal gets repeated. So to find the period for discrete time, for continuous time, you have seen just now we have followed this method. We compared, we found the period. But here in case of discrete, how will we proceed? Let's see. Omega is pi by 4. We have a general value of omega. It should be multiples of 2 pi. 2 pi into m by n. So जो भी आपका ओमेगा वैल्यू आया है, that value you try to represent in this form. Is it possible? Let's see. um, I have got pi by 4 as the omega value. What I will do now, यहाँ पे आपको 2 पाई चाहिए, राइट? 2 पाई के लिए यहाँ पे 2 शॉर्टेज है, 2 नहीं है. सो व्हाट आई विल डू, आई विल मल्टीप्लाई एंड डिवाइड बाई 2. अगर जब आप फिर से 2 2 कैंसिल करके फिर से 1 आ जाएगा, इट वोंट अफेक्ट योर रिजल्ट्स. सो आई विल मल्टीप्लाई बाई 2 एंड डिवाइड बाई 2. After that, what I will do, I will club these two. I will make it 2 pi, right? Numerator. Denominator क्या हो गया? 4 into 2, you will get 8. So 2 pi by 8 is nothing but what? So 2 ones are 2 fours are. Again I got pi by 4 back, right? So 2 pi by 8 I got. 2 pi by 8. Whether it is looking like this, 2 pi into m by n, yes, I can represent it like this. See, how can I write it? 2 pi into 1 by 8, right? 2 pi by 8 is nothing but 2 pi into 1 by 8. अभी आप कंपेयर करो 1 by 8 और m by n को कंपेयर करो. m is equal to 1, n is equal to 8. So period, the fundamental period capital N for a discrete signal, is n is equal to 8 you got. The same I have written here. You can see here pi is equal to pi, omega is equal to pi by 4. So what I did to represent it in 2 pi into m by n form, pi by 4 is already there. I multiplied and divided by 2. And then what I did, here it's hidden, 2 pi into 1 by 8. 2 pi into 1 by 8. And this numerator is representing m, denominator is representing capital N. Hence, n is equal to 8. Now, with n is equal to 8 means what? After 8 samples, after 8 time units, the signal repeats. इसको अब कैसे draw करेंगे? We know that sine is a odd signal. It starts from 0 and it extends like this. Okay. Now, between, you can see, this represents one cycle. After this, the signal is repeating. So this duration represents one cycle. अब इस one cycle को आपको 8 में convert करना है, 8 samples में convert करना है. You can see it here, between 0 to 8 what I have done, 4 lines are for the positive amplitude, 4 lines are for the negative amplitudes. Not 4 lines, 4 units I can say. Count it. See, 0 to 1 is 1 unit, 1 to 2 is 2 unit, 3 unit and 4 unit. 4 units for positive amplitude, then 4 to 5 1 unit, 2 unit, 3 unit and 4 unit. So 4 unit for negative. So 4 plus 4, I will get n equal to 8. In this way I can draw x of n. Once I draw x of n, it is easy for me to get the reflection of the signal, right? So what is the reflection of sine signal? I have told you that sine is a odd signal. Okay. So if this positive side is starting like this, what is the reflection of the signal? The reflection of the signal will be like this. Okay. The reflection of this part, 0 to 4, 4 to 8, this, the reflection of this is negative side. Okay. Then if I take the reflection of the second part, the reflection of this will be, reflection is like this, right? You can observe it. The reflection of green color is like this, and the reflection of red color is like this, right? So all together, if I want to draw it, the signal looks like this, continuously varying. Okay, this is x of minus n. So once I got x of n and x of minus n, how to find the even and odd components? Simple. You add them, divide the amplitude by 2. You subtract them, divide the amplitude by 2. You will get even and odd. See, if I add them, what will happen? This is a positive amplitude. This is the negative. So positive plus negative, you will get 0. Here negative plus positive, you will get 0. Positive plus negative 0. So no even component, because the question is for sine. Sine is an odd signal, so you won't get any even component there. Now what is odd component? Odd component is the subtraction. Subtract each point, you will get the addition. 1, assume that this is 1 and this is -1. So 1 minus of -1 क्या हो जाएगा? 2. एम्पलीट्यूड डबल हो जाएगा, पॉजिटिव हो जाएगा. दैट्स व्हाट आई हैव डन. यहाँ पर भी मैंने एक स्टेप स्किप किया है. ये एम्पलीट्यूड एक्चुअली पहले 2 रहेगा. ओके ये जो भी मैंने ड्रॉ किया है अर्लियर, इससे पहले का स्टेप, एम्पलीट्यूड 2 - 2 रहेगा जब आप ऐड करते जाएंगे सिग्नल को. बट ऑड के लिए फाइनली आपको 1/2 करना है. एम्पलीट्यूड शुड बी हाफ. सो इसको डिवाइड बाई 2 कर दो. 2/2 एम्पलीट्यूड फाइनली आपको 1 - 1 मिलेगा. दिस इज हाउ इवन एंड ऑड parts can be found for the second signal. Any doubts in this? You can ask me. And as a note, what I have given, these are two identities type. They are prove that type of problems which are important again for even and odd. So what is there, what is given here is, if x1 is an odd signal and x2 is an even signal, prove that x1 into x2, when you multiply even and odd, you should get odd. It means that समझो कि एक सिग्नल आपका पॉजिटिव है, से ए, से और एक सिग्नल है आपके पास वैल्यू जो नेगेटिव है, से -b. सो क्वेश्चन क्या है, यू शुड प्रूव दैट a इंटू -b जब आप मल्टीप्लाई करोगे आंसर आपका नेगेटिव आना चाहिए, -ab, नेगेटिव ऑड सिग्नल. फाइन, ये तो पता ही है आपको. हाउ टू प्रूव दैट? these two documents, the note, these two proofs I have already shared in the Google Classroom. Go through the derivation proof. If you don't get anywhere, please you can contact me. Okay. Okay, let's come to the second type of signals, that is periodic and non-periodic classification of signals. So we have already seen what is periodic. We know this roughly, we know what is a period, periodic. So periodic means a signal which repeats after a certain instant, right? And even when you try to define what is frequency, frequency is number of cycles per second, that is called frequency, and inverse of the frequency will be the time. So what is periodic signal? Again, for periodic and non-periodic, we will go for a continuous time as well as discrete time. So let me first define for the continuous time. A continuous time signal x of t is said to be periodic if it satisfies the condition x of t equals to x of t plus capital T. Capital T is what? The period, fundamental period. ये इक्वेशन का मतलब क्या है? जब एक सिग्नल x of t है, वो सिग्नल जब आप एक टाइम पीरियड रहता है, वो टाइम पीरियड कैपिटल T है, समझो ये 0 से स्टार्ट हुआ है. जब आप इस T को ऐड करोगे, सिग्नल विल स्टार्ट रिपीटिंग. अगेन यहाँ पर एक टाइम पीरियड T आएगा, अगेन आप T को ऐड कर लोगे तो नेक्स्ट इंस्टेंट मिल जाएगा आपको. द मीनिंग ऑफ द इक्वेशन इज दैट the signal x of t, it will repeat after the time period capital T, the meaning of the equation. So if this is, if any signal satisfies this condition, then we call it a periodic signal. And what is this capital T? Capital T, the value, we call it fundamental period of the signal x of t, right? It is the time taken by the signal x of t to complete one cycle. एक इंस्टेंस कंप्लीट करने के लिए जितना टाइम लगता है उसको टाइम पीरियड बोलेंगे. एंड ऐसे कितने साइकिल्स एक सेकेंड में आएंगे, दैट वी कॉल इट फ्रीक्वेंसी. दैट्स व्हाट आई हैव रिटन हियर. द रेसिप्रोकल ऑफ द टाइम t is called the frequency f, and frequency is measured in hertz, time period is measured in seconds. अगर ओमेगा है, ओमेगा that is angular frequency, that is measured in radians per second. You might be knowing these units already. Frequency hertz, time period seconds, angular frequency radians per second. And what is non-periodic signal? It's very obvious. So when a signal, if it doesn't satisfy this condition, this equation, signal repeat nahi hota hai, okay, then we call it non-periodic, or this is also synonym, aperiodic, non-periodic or aperiodic signal. You can see it in the figure. Examples I have quoted. The first signal you can see, signal has started at 0. We don't know whether it is even signal, odd signal. We will leave it there. Just you see the signal, how it is looking. It is in the form of a square wave, right? The pulses, the signal is repeating. When it is repeating, you can see there is a positive amplitude, negative amplitude. Let me just start. Positive amplitude, negative amplitude. After this, there is again a positive amplitude. So this is the period of the signal T. After this, the next instance, then the next instance, like that the signal repeats. Here also on the left side you can see there is a pulse, positive, negative. After that the signal is repeating. So this is the time period capital T. So the first figure shows an example for periodic signal. And the second signal you see here, is there any repetition? Is there any repetition shown here? There is no repetition. एक सिग्नल है, एक पल्स है जो आपको -1 से 1 तक रेंज है. That two ramps are there, increasing ramp and decreasing ramp. That's it. Anywhere the signal is repeating like this from positive side and negative side? No, the signal is not at all repeating. The signal is, first of all, it is a finite signal, limited range का signal है, and दो ramps हैं. That's it. So this is one example for aperiodic, non-periodic signal. This explanation I have given you for continuous time. The similar kind of explanation can be derived for the discrete time. See, for discrete time, a discrete time signal x of n is said to be periodic if it satisfies the condition x of n equals to x of n plus capital N. What is this capital N? Capital N stands for the fundamental period. वो वैल्यू जिसके बाद सिग्नल रिपीट होता है, दैट वी कॉल इट फंडामेंटल पीरियड, कैपिटल N फॉर डिस्क्रीट सिग्नल. Similarly, you can see fundamental frequency, it is omega. In case of continuous, it was omega like this, and for discrete, omega. Resistance का जो symbol है आपका, it looks like that. And a slight difference here, this was very much straight, omega equals to 2 pi f, which is equal to 2 pi divided by t. Very easily you can find. Here, there is a condition. What is the condition? Omega, the angular frequency, it should be multiples of 2 pi. This is the condition. That's why we can write omega in this form. Omega should be equal to 2 pi into m by n, and m by n should be a rational number. It should not be irrational number. If that is the case, if this is satisfied, then only we say that the signal is periodic, and you can find the period easily. Just now you have seen how we found the period here. See, sin n pi by 4. Pi by 4 was there. So to represent it in the form of 2 pi, because the condition is for omega to exist, for n to exist, it should be multiple of 2 pi, and ये जो m by n ratio है, ये rational रहेगा. It should be a rational number. You should represent this ratio in the form of a rational number. Then only it is periodic. इसीलिए हमने pi by 4 को ऐसे represent किया. Pi by 4 है, उसको m by n फॉर्म में लाने के लिए मल्टीप्लाई एंड डिवाइड बाई 2 करके 2 पाई को न्यूमरेटर में लेके डिनोमिनेटर को 8 किया है, 4 into 2, एंड फाइनली हाउ वी रिप्रेजेंटेड, 2 पाई को ऐसे ही रखे, 1/8 लिए, एंड इस 1/8 को हम कंपेयर किए हैं m by n से. सो मल्टीपल ऑफ 2 पाई आ गया. So omega should be the multiple of 2 pi, and the ratio m by n should be a rational ratio. The same thing, omega equals to 2 pi by n, and 2 pi into m by n indicates Omega should be a multiple of 2 pi, and m by n ratio should be a rational number. Okay, and any signal which won't satisfy this condition, this repeating condition, we call it a periodic or non-periodic signal. It is not a space. This space should be eliminated. Okay, rectify this, change this. A periodic signal. You can see in the example given here, the first signal which you can see, it is the example for periodic signal. Let us try to find the period of this. If I take this as 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, like that. See, let me start with 0. So after this, 3 samples are there. इसके बाद negative 3 samples हैं. After this, again positive samples, right? The signal is repeating. So what is the period? Check. Period will be 0 to 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So totally the period value, that is capital N, is equal to 6. After this 6 units, the signal repeats. We can start at any point and decide. Let me just show you one more example here. Let me take from this point. Okay. If I start from this negative value, there are 3 samples negative. After that, 3 samples positive. After that, again a negative sample. So till this. So you count it. Let me take a different color. Count it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So capital N value is equal to 6. This is one example for periodic signal. And see the second figure. It is some limited signal जहाँ पे आपको 3 samples हैं, 0, 1, 2, 3 times पे आपको एक यहाँ पे 2 है, ये 1 है और ये 1 है, 2, 1, 1. There is no repetition or infinite anything. So limited signal, there is a limited signal. This is aperiodic. This is non-periodic example because there is no repetition over any time. I hope you understood this. This is the basic background. With this background, let me start solving the problems based on periodic and non-periodic signals. Any doubts you can ask me? This is the first problem. Determine whether the continuous time and discrete time signals, generally one question I have given you in that sub questions, because every time it's not possible for me to write determine whether the signal is periodic or not. So that's why a common heading I have given, sub questions 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let me take. Okay, so the questions may be either for continuous time or discrete time, and period find करना है अगर तो continuous के लिए capital T रहेगा, discrete के लिए capital N रहेगा. So common question. So let's take the first one. X of t. So continuous time है. X of t equals to cos of 2 pi into t whole square. So what is the standard equation for cos? Cos of omega t. So instead of we can start directly take that, but you have a power here. So eliminate that power first. What is cos square theta formula? Trigonometric formula. Just now I have told you cos square theta will be equal to 1 plus cos 2 theta divided by 2. So theta is equal to what? 2 pi into t. So substitute that. It will be half. I have taken it outside. 1 plus cos of double the theta value. Theta is 2 pi into t into double it. 2 into 2, 4 pi t. So if you simplify, you will get half plus half cos 4 pi t. So out of this, this is one constant value. Forget about this. We are now interested in this. So let us try to compare it with cos term, cos of omega t and the cos 4 pi t. So compare. If you compare both, what is the angle? Angle omega will be equal to 4 pi, right? What is omega? Omega is equal to 2 pi f. 2 pi f is equal to 4 pi. Pi pi gets cancelled. 2 1s are 2 2s are. So f equal to 2. And take the inverse reciprocal of frequency, you will get the time period 0.5, half, 1 by 2 seconds. So this is how we found the signals period capital T, fundamental period capital T. Now, how will you verify whether the given signal is periodic or not after a certain instant? You can see it, verification x of t equals to x of t plus t. This is the condition for any signal to be periodic. So ये condition को हम apply करने के लिए जो अभी हमने find किया है t, उसको substitute करेंगे. T plus 5 RHS. Okay, RHS we have started. Cos of, what is x of t given? X of t is cos of 2 pi t, right? So what will be x of t plus 0.5? Cos of 2 pi, instead of t, substitute t plus 0.5. So expand it again, half plus half cos of, instead of 2 pi, you will get 4